Power to the people. Power to the people. Good evening. My name is State Representative Justin Jones. I use he, him pronouns, and I represent the District of Resistance, House District 52 in the Tennessee General Assembly. Tonight, it is beautiful to look out at a room that looks like our state. Instead of the Tennessee State Capitol, which is dominated by dusty, worn-out, old, racist white men. You all in this room represent the vision of our state's future that my Republican colleagues are so terrified of and have stopped at nothing to try and ban. Tonight's theme, Progress Through Diversity, comes in a moment where diversity, equity, and inclusion have come under assault. DEI has replaced CRT and woke and BLM as they try to scapegoat and blame for everything that they think is wrong with this country. What they really mean is anyone who is not white, straight, cisgender male entering spaces of power and disrupting business as usual. Tennessee is the tip of the spear. With Republicans passing laws to ban books, ban gender-affirming care, ban reproductive health care, ban drag shows, and even try to ban pride flags from our classrooms. Our state has led the charge in legislating hate, and those of us on the front lines who have seen this before must sound the alarm. We must sound the alarm because we here in Tennessee know that these attempts to legislate hate are thinly veiled attacks meant to stoke divisions and weaponize fear for the purpose of seizing power. We know that these are not good faith solutions to real problems, but rather disinformation meant to distract, deflect, and deceive voters. While they attack gender-affirming care, they deny health care access and refuse to expand Medicaid and cut health care services. While they talk about indoctrination in our classrooms, they pass vouchers that cut public education funding. While they ban books about Black history and LGBTQ+ stories, they refuse to pass laws to ban assault weapons or regulate firearms, the actual threat to our kids in schools. We know that drag shows are not a threat to our kids, but gun violence is in our schools. Friends, we must sound the alarm because underneath this fear-mongering is a sinister agenda that is trying to divide and conquer our movement through their old worn-out tactics of what I like to call plantation politics. Beware the whisper of those who promise that the path to progress can happen if you just leave a few out. Those who counsel that there is safety in ignoring the mistreatment of those deemed other. They whisper, do not fight for trans issues or trans youth, leave them behind and you will be safe. They whisper, do not fight for HIV and AIDS research, healthcare access, or equity, leave them behind and you will be safe. They whisper, do not fight for those who do not fit the gender norm or who use different pronouns or dress differently or look differently, leave them behind and you will be safe. In reality, their message is simple. Comply in advance, and you will be safe. We must sound the alarm because, as James Baldwin so prophetically warned in his letter to Angela Davis, if they take you in the morning, they will be coming for us that night. This movement is diverse and intersectional and fights for nobody or everybody. Or as they like to say here in the South, y'all means all. It was a Black trans woman named Marsha P. Johnson who threw the first brick at Stonewall. And a Puerto Rican trans woman named Sylvia Rivera who mobilized alongside her to fight for queer and trans youth thrown out of their homes. They gave life to our fight for liberation. It was a gay man named Baird Rustin who was the architect of the March on Washington and the Civil Rights Movement. Because racial justice is bound up with queer justice. Friends, we know that if they come for one of us, they will come for all of us. No one is expendable. We must sound the alarm because solidarity is our strength. Solidarity is our power. So if you will join with me real quick, I just want us to say, no LGB without the T. No LGB. No LGB. No LGB. No LGB. Community, solidarity, that is where we are going to draw our strength from for the fights ahead. Community is who has our back and whose shoulder we can lean on. Community is our united front, standing 10 toes down together as we face the forces of opposition trying to take us backwards in history. You heard that man in Washington. He said he wants to take this nation back. Well, we best believe that he's taking us back to a time we don't want to go to. It's rooms like this that are important for the work we have to do, and we must organize the front lines here to stop the forward march to fascism and authoritarianism across this nation. We must organize in rooms like this to ask how we might be in service to the movement today. Because the unrelenting assault on the freedom to love who you love, be who you want to be, and exist as you want to exist are at a perilous crossroads in this nation. Our opposition has been emboldened in their erosion of civil and human rights as the Grand Wizard in Washington has bought his way back to the White House and given a green light to my Republican colleagues here in Tennessee to try and nationalize their hateful agenda that they first tested in our state house. Tennessee has led in all the wrong ways, year after year after year, passing more anti-LGBTQ laws than any other state in the nation. The first state to ban drag shows, the state that took its transgender youth-affirming care ban to the Supreme Court, and the state leading in book bans with Wilson County, just miles away, pulling over 400 books off their school library shelves. With the lack of guardrails and federal oversight, many of us in the former Confederacy see through this new cover on an old book of discrimination and hate. Our road ahead is long, and there is no assurance that we will win every fight immediately. But our opponents can be assured that every attempt to roll back the clock of human rights will be met with unyielding resistance using every tool at our disposal. But I want to say something in case you know any of these folks who will find themselves on the other side of us. Kendrick Lamar put it this way: they're not like us. But here's the reason why they're not like us. It's not just because of their ideology, but the difference between us and them is that we're fighting for their children too. I want our opponents to know that we fight in love because we are fighting for their children and grandchildren too. We want their children and grandchildren to grow up in a safe and affirming state that loves them unconditionally. We want their children and grandchildren to grow up knowing that they are made in the image of the Creator, that they are beloved and sacred. We want their children and grandchildren to grow up in a world where queer kids don't question their worth or have their lives stolen by cruelty, but where they are allowed to flourish into the fullness of their brilliance. This past 2 years, I've talked to too many parents of trans kids who said, we have to leave Tennessee because our children are not safe here. That is a damn shame. And so, friends, our refusal to comply and be silent is a message to the future. Nashville civil rights icon, freedom fighter, my mentor Diane Nash, said it best when she described boarding the Freedom Ride buses in Nashville after the buses were bombed in Anniston, Alabama. She said that we had our wills written out and were ready to make the ultimate sacrifice because we were thinking about you and your generation. Because though we had yet to meet you, we still loved you. What we were doing was for generations yet unborn. Our actions now are letting our kids today and future generations know that we love them every time we stand up to speak up and fight back. We are letting them know that in this time of chaos and confusion, backlash and darkness, that there was a people who were refusing to be bowed and who were fighting back for them. Yesterday and the day before, our opponents tried everything they could to stifle and silence us. Today we rise with our heads bloody but unbowed. Our presence is proof that we are winning. As the poet Lucille Clifton put it, "Come, celebrate with me, that every day something has tried to kill me and has failed." So I want to end by saying that in this moment, we must bring hope and light and, yes, glamour to our movement. We must be warriors both of righteous anger and of joy if we are to sustain ourselves going forward. This does not mean we do not take the urgency of this moment seriously. It means that we will not make ourselves smaller or quieter to appease those who refuse to see our humanity. We will make our joy loud and larger than life. We will celebrate as resistance. We will love out loud. If they shut off our microphones, we will bring a megaphone out our pocket if we have to. We will not contort ourselves to conform to their colonial standards, but we send a clear message that we will not go back. We will not be silent as they try and pick off members in our communities. We will not bow down. Friends, we are not in normal times, and sometimes our resistance will not be polite or in proper decorum. Let me be honest with you. Sometimes the speaker's just going to have to rule us out of order. Because we must put our morals above our manners. That is the time we're in today. Sometimes democracy requires disruption. And so in this chapter in our national story, we send a clear and resounding message that if they come for our folks, if they mess around, then best believe that they will find out. Power to the people. Power to the people. Power to the people. Power to the people. Love y'all. Thank y'all.